Welcome. Today we're talking with Kim Snyder, CEO and founder at KlariVis, an enterprise dashboard and analytics tool designed by bankers for bankers. Kim, welcome, and thank you for joining us at today's Banker Digest.
Larry, thank you so much for having me. Super excited for the conversation and really appreciate the time being spent with you this morning.
Kim, let's start with a brief overview of KlariVis.
Yes, thanks, Larry. So KlariVis is an enterprise dashboard and analytics platform that's designed for bankers by bankers, as you mentioned. So my core team here, we all worked at the same community bank together for a number of years. Our bank sold. We worked in a consulting practice, actually started a consulting practice focused on financial institutions. And this data challenge that banks have, we found it at every bank we went into. And so the light bulb finally went off one day and we decided we wanted to solve it. That's really kind of how KlariVis was born. What we do is we bring data in from all the various systems that a bank might use. We consolidate it, we normalize it, we aggregate it, and we deliver it back to the bank in the form of business intelligence. So they can say goodbye to hours wasted sifting and creating spreadsheets, and instead free up those resources and allow self-service access across the bank so everybody can see the information they need to see to serve their customers best.
Great. Thank you, Kim. So, what are bankers looking for when they contact you? Is the initial inquiry driven by the bank's strategic plan, or is there a project initiative that's starting them off on talking with you?
Yeah, and we are finding, especially recently, data is really part of the strategic plan of a bank. Banks have enormous amounts of data. It's not about the volume of data, it's about how to easily access it. And actually leverage it to make decisions. And so when we're talking with bank CEOs, CFOs, it's typically at the C-suite level. They are trying to figure out how do they leverage the information that they have about their customers more effectively across the organization to help them drive revenue, boost profitability, as well as increase efficiencies across their bank.
Great. Thank you, Kim. So you mentioned the C-suite. So typically, who is the key decision maker in this platform? Is it the bank's president, CEO? Is it the marketing officer? Perhaps the lending officer or the CFO? Who's taking the lead here in your experiences with the banks?
Yeah, it really depends as far as the project sponsor is concerned. Quite frankly, it could be that we're at an event and the chief executive officer or the chief lending officer happens to see us. And so they are the ones that bring us into the bank. In other cases, it could be the chief financial officer and so forth. But what I would tell you is that because our solution is an enterprise solution, it is a C-suite buy because it impacts everyone inside the organization. And so very rarely, I mean, sometimes maybe at a smaller institution, we might have the C-suite, the CEO just make the decision and purchase it on their own. But
Mm-hmm.
most often, we are meeting with the entire executive team of the bank and talking to them about their pain points and showing them how KlariVis can solve them.
Great. Okay. Thank you. So, Kim, kind of complicated, but do you find that the data analytics solutions, is it both a technical implementation as well as a cultural change?
No, that's a great question, Larry, and it absolutely is both. So, what I will tell you is that we're different than most other providers out there in that we have a core banking team who handles our implementations. And so, when a bank partners with KlariVis, there is a technical element to it, but because our implementation team are all comprised of former bankers, they understand the data elements, they understand the various systems that we're extracting the data from, and so they can really work intelligently with the bank in order to get the data into our platform. When our banks go live with KlariVis, it absolutely becomes a cultural implementation. And so we have lots of conversations with our banks about how do we want to roll this out. We do our training basically in job function. So we'll train the retail team together, we'll train the lending team together, the executive team, the finance team, the credit team, because all of the use cases are a little bit different, right? And so everybody wants to see data differently and they use it differently. And so we train them that way. But that is a culture change in some organizations because before KlariVis, okay, when I was a bank CFO, we had one or two people inside of our bank who wrote all the reports and disseminated them across the organization. When you take that away and everybody can just log in and slice and dice the data however they see fit,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to be ready to embrace accountability and transparency inside of your bank.
Great, great. Well, Kim, thank you for spending time with today's Banker Digest.
Thank you
Well,
for
you
having
make the
me.
point that the need for solid analytics is increasing. You also make an excellent case for a broad-based collaborative approach by banks in the design, implementation, and ongoing use of analytics and dashboards. So again, thank you, Kim.
Larry, thank you so much. It's been a joy speaking with you this morning, and I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Great. Okay. Well, good. In closing, thank you for joining today's Banker Digest. If you have additional questions for Kim, please see the link in her bio.